Time now for our first guests this week, and I said guests. The League of Gentlemen are incredible. They've been one of the funniest comedy troupes in this country for the last 20 years. They are a quartet. You'll know them as mainly Mark Gatiss, Reece Shearsmith and Steve Pemberton. They're the performing members of the League. They have a non-performing member, Jeremy Dyson, the writer as well. He's the co-writer of Ghost Stories. They've done other things. Outside the League, of course, Inside Number 9, Sherlock, Ghost Stories, all sorts of stuff. But they came together this year for a tour and some specials on the BBC as well. The tour, The League of Gentlemen Live Again or Live Again, is out now on DVD. You can check it out right now. And all four of them came into the pod booth recently to have a good old natter with me, and much fun was had by all. Enjoy. We are delighted to be joined on the Empire podcast by the League of Gentlemen. They are here.
Hello.
All at once. It's amazing. Mark Gatiss, Steve Pemberton, Reece Shearsmith and Jeremy Dyson. How are you all? Good?
Yes,
all very good. Thank you, yes.
Good. Reece and Steve are sharing a microphone.
We are.
And hopefully there won't be any problem with it.
Hey, it's like Norman Rossington's.
Norman Collier.
Oh, yeah. Who's Rossington?
Rossington. British character actor. You know, Rossington. You know his face.
Yes, Norman Collier, sorry.
Rossington Collier. Yeah, Norman Collier, but yep, microphone. I've always wanted to do that. How are you all? The new live DVD is out now, and I loved it. It was amazing. But I want to know how to pronounce it. Is it The League of Gentlemen Live Again, or The League of Gentlemen Live Again?
Both. It's both, but in my mind, for me, it's live.
Okay.
No, it's live.
No, it's live.
No, live again.
Deaf, blind, neither both.
We conceived of it as a horror type thing, didn't we? Like Dr. Phibes. So I think it's live. Yeah.
Okay. And was that something that you conceived was at the very, very beginning when you came back together again and thought we're going to do a live show or a live show?
The live show.
The live show.
We could have called it The League of Gentlemen Yet Live, couldn't we? That's very horror-y.
I like the idea that you have to hold the different ideas simultaneously in your mind.
It requires
which is what
some
the world
effort.
is missing at the moment.
Yes.
Unable to do that, everything's become polarised.
True, two ideas at once.
Yes.
Imagine.
Yeah. So it was a bit like Schrodinger's League of Gentlemen.
Yes.
You're both live and live. Until you say, did the four of you often travel together? Is it a bit like the president and the vice president in case something happens at the same time? That would be awful.
Nobody's that bothered.
I'll tell you who does that, the Wiggles.
Oh, really?
The Australian children's group, the Wiggles. So yeah, they travel in two separate planes.
Haven't they all now been replaced?
Probably.
Because of plane crashes over the years.
Yeah, there's different coloured top, isn't it? And
No,
you've got another one.
we often travel together, and we started off this tour in a sort of people carrier.
Yes.
And
Which is the thing that happens every tour, isn't it?
yes, and that was nice for a while, and then Mark said, "Nope, sorry, we need to upgrade," and he was right.
He was right too, because we thought for some reason we didn't have big journeys, but we did, and I'm glad we did it early on because there was long journeys, and we got to see a lot of daft horror films, didn't we? And
that's always the best.
lots
Honestly,
of,
the best part of the tour, apart from doing the show for everyone, was
Getting back on the
clambering
bus.
onto the bus at night and watching bad horror films.
And
or
Whodunit.
episodes of Whodunit.
Yeah.
We had such a good time.
Wasn't
I
it
miss
Britney Spears' tour bus?
That was the
The one before was.
the original was, but I've now been told Paul Roberts, our promoter, I think he just span us a yarn. I think it might have been the Wurzels. It was very nice.
There was straw down.
It was very nice, yeah.
So it was an actual tour bus? That was...
It was huge, yeah.
Double-decker.
14 beds on it. There's only the three of us.
We slept in each one.
We didn't barely sleep, but that was the ludicrousness, really, of the excess.
And this was a pretty major tour. I mean, you did a lot of dates here in London, but where did you go? Where did this tour take you?
We started in Barnstaple, in a theatre that held 400.
No, it held more than that.
Was it?
404.
Well, my point was, we did a very small version of the show, and then we did the O2 with the same show, but bigger performances. But we went everywhere, didn't we? We did the north, up and down. We went right to the top and bottom. We went to Ireland, right from Scotland all the way down.
It's actually, of the three tours, it's the shortest one. The first one we did 111 dates. This one was 47, although that was over several months, wasn't it?
Wow.
You were in bigger venues, weren't you?
This time, yes, bigger venues, yeah.
Yes.
Some arenas we played in, Manchester, O2, Leeds Arena, and they were great. We were dreading those, really, because you're never quite sure you're going to get the intimacy and that the laughter is going to come at different points as the sound reaches the back.
Yeah.
But actually, we just found that people liked it, and it didn't really matter when people laughed. We just ploughed on regardless.
Because of physics question.
Well, you couldn't, could you? Yeah, you just had to presume, especially the O2 when you can't get a collective laugh back in one go. He's just got to sort of do it by muscle memory.
Yeah.
Leave a gap, carry on.
What's that experience like the first time you play a venue that big? Is it disorienting?
There was my abiding memory. There was a bigger gap between the stage and them than you'd ever expect. There's, like the lights sort of stop, and then there's another bit. Sometimes where you'd have an orchestra pit, there's another gap, and then there's darkness, and then they're out there, and you can't see a thing.
Yeah, you have no sense of them really.
So, but as Steve says, it's surprisingly intimate. There's surprisingly a real rapport, and some of the O2 is quite difficult acoustically, but most of them are designed for it.
Yeah, the Leeds one was great.
Yeah,
it didn't feel, it didn't feel.
It was
at
a
all,
funny.
so.
It would be different when we did the big venues and we had these screens at the side, because there was an edit going on at the sides of our performances that we had no idea or control of, that changed where the laughs were. Because they could see things, and it would cut to someone, or it would cut to a member of the audience, and that would get a laugh, and it'd be like, that's nothing to do with it.
How do we know they weren't showing something completely different,
they weren't.
like
Well,
Airplane or something?
Or the Wiggles?
Yeah.
Or the Wiggles, yeah.
Definitely the Wiggle. I've never seen the Wiggle.
Oh, you don't want to.
Yeah.
It's like a really amateurish sort of Rod, Jane and Freddie, but Australian. But all
But
Freddies.
massive. All huge.
No James in the Wiggles.
All Freddies.
They're massive. I mean,
There's a few Rods.
No, huge.
But they're huge. They sell out arenas.
Jeffrey died, didn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jeffrey Hayes, yeah.
The Fimbles would sell out arenas, don't they? And Peppa Pig and things like that.
Yeah, it's a huge business. Yeah. So us on the O2, we're thinking of, Springsteen, and we're thinking, it's really
Peppa Pig.
Peppa Pig.
The Giants. Who stood in these wings?
And Lazy Town.
Yes.
And he died.
Yes, the curse
Oh,
of
man.
television.
I don't know.
It's just what you're going to do, Mark, through the entire interview. Just remind us of people who've died.
Yes, it's what comes to
If
us
we
all.
wander into it.
Maudlin.
Just right for Christmas.
Another one gone.
Yeah. The League of Gentlemen Dead Again is on DVD right now. And Jeremy, as the non-performing member of the league, what is your function during the live
it
shows?
used to be as a kind of sanity barometer on previous tours. So, I would, often go out for most of the shows in the first week or two and then let it settle. And then, particularly on the first tour, I remember having left them for about 3 weeks and then not seen them. And then
Coming back, they were feral.
went back. Yeah, they'd gone mad. They'd literally gone insane. And they started imagining that an entity was following them round called the Bubble Angel.
That was true, though.
Still haven't forgotten it. It had the body of a pigeon and a head like a cherub on the side of a church.
It would blow.
And it would be in the
It
corner.
was like that bit in Hereditary when they just go,
Yes.
and that's what it was like.
We would hear that was the
right.
noise. We had that noise in our minds through all of the
Totally
tour in
deranged.
2002.
Yes.
Whatever it was.
So, but now he's just gone mad as well. So.
Yes,
Okay.
it's true. I
Just joined in.
Have you seen the Bubble Angel? Is the Bubble
We
Angel
didn't
in the room
ever
right
hear
now?
it on this tour, did we? It's gone away. But you came to a lot of the shows, didn't you?
I did.
It
I
was
came to
nice.
quite a lot this time. I did. Well, the thing is, because now you really appreciate. Not that we didn't appreciate it before, but the specialness of just being together as a group, and having had a period away from it, and so any opportunity and just the lovely things like going out for a meal afterwards, and
It's all about ecstasy stuff.
Just to meet, so we can meet.
you can meet.
Yes.
But it was
For a
extra.
lovely curry and
No, and also
Indeed.
I tell you one thing I loved was being able to take my eldest daughter to see it, which I'd never thought I'd have the chance to. And
Amazing.
I took her to see it in Sheffield, which was one of the lovely shows, and then meeting the audience and people coming up, and everyone's older, but they're all so grateful, and it's such a special thing.
It was amazing. I mean, to think it felt like we were just in our heyday. You didn't get a sense that it was 20 years old.
No.
It was honestly
It's quite
very,
something.
seriously very humbling. People were just so delighted to see us doing it again, and also just there was a real brightness to that, to that response. It wasn't like being in a 90s tribute act or something. I think people could tell that we were doing it because we wanted to, not because we had to.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
that comes across, I hope, in there.
So when did the decision to come back and do this tour, and obviously the shows you did last Christmas as well? When were they a package deal in it?
Yes, they were, yeah.
In a way?
It was contractually obligation.
Steve, you are here via contractual obligation, isn't it?
No, we'd been talking about it for a while, hadn't we? And we couldn't pin down what we thought was a 20-year anniversary. So we decided on 2017 because that was 20 years since we did the first radio series, our first broadcast thing for the BBC.
And the Perrier Award.
And the Perrier Award, yeah.
Yeah.
So we'd been talking about that, and we decided to do some TV shows, which were the first ones in how many years? 15 years?
Yes, 15 years.
15 years.
And then the live show, we always were going to follow on from that. And it was a total joy from beginning to end. And we kind of want to do more. I'm saying this now, they're all looking at me. But we're not going to.
No, it was great. I mean, we always thought in conjunction with the TV coming back, we could announce some live shows and then we would glean the interest.
Yeah, of course.
It became quite a funny thing the countdown to doing it in front of an audience, not knowing who there would be and if it would be the same as it was when we were on the telly.
Yeah.
In our heyday, it could have felt very different, but it didn't.
The most lovely thing was, because I can remember, it was literally almost a year to the day, we stood when we announced that we were doing the tour, and we were there with Phil McIntyre, who's our promoter, and we didn't know if it was going to sell, and we said, will it sell, Phil? And he said, I don't know. And he didn't know either. And then the lovely thing was the day the tickets went on sale, they just went.
Yeah, and it was good. There's a lot of people still keeping it alive.
So that was, it was.
I'm still trying to get tickets, actually. So you have to tour again. You have to do it now. Yeah. But putting the show together is fascinating because the show is broken down into two distinct segments. So the first segment is older material, and the second segment is new material. And
no, that's not true at all.
Well, newish.
The first,
how did you?
There's some new stuff in the first half.
Yeah.
And the second half, it's a bit of both.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Across, but the thing is, the first half is deliberately, as we've done it since the first two, sort of.
Yeah.
It's like Wizard of Oz. It goes black and white to colour, and it's deliberately sort of lo-fi, so that you can then go into widescreen.
You said it's like an acoustic set of the first half an hour. Stripped down version.
And that's
it's tuxedos, and it's very.
It was to go back to basics. That was the first tour, wasn't it? And it really worked. And we've sort of done that principle on all of them, really, of having a sort of smaller thing. So when you come back, you go, oh look, they're doing the costumes and everything. But we try to vary stuff. So there's a lot of. There's actual new material. Someone said to me the day, I'd never seen that Mr. and Mrs. sketch. I said, no, it's new. He went, really? As if it was the most extraordinary thing in the world. But then there's there's sequels to stuff on the TV.
Yes.
And there's variations on a theme.
And the Cave Guide was new, and we did, and we did, the Pam Duve I did was classic, but it was we'd never done it on stage, had we? So we tried to pick things that people may know very well, but we'd never actually done them live. So
the rule was we won't do anything live that we've done live before.
Okay.
Yes.
And the only thing we did do was card game.
Yes.
And we added that in because we just wanted to start with something that all three of us could be in, and that people would cheer.
And that we could remember.
yeah, that was because that came in late, didn't it? So we're doing card game now, are we?
Okay.
You've got to remember the rules.
Yeah, it's a tough one to remember, I imagine.
Jacks are worth, 10 kings are worth.
From one-eyed Jacks, which are
We'll come to those in a moment.
And Reece, during the show, I imagine out of the three of you, your voice is most fucked at the end of the show.
Yeah, it was all right, actually. I always think, you would think, wouldn't you, doing Lazarus, that it would be.
Yeah.
And shouting, but we all managed to keep. I think it's because we've got mics. It's not like theatre.
But they've also
having to project with
15 years of craft as well. You see in between,
and that's what you spotted, isn't it? When you saw the much more accomplished performances,
going away, honing your skills.
Yeah.
In terms of the new material and the stuff you wrote specifically for the show, because I know you write in two pairs. But do you write as a foursome at all for the live shows? How does that work?
We certainly came together to put it together, because a lot of the construction of it was in the logistics of who's going to be off, and we can put that there. Mark can be doing that while we're getting into this. And the order of it that felt right, but also necessary to be able to actually achieve the changes. But it was a breakthrough. We had the Bernice as one sketch, and she did all the agony aunt bits in one go, and then as Mark said, maybe we should use that. She could be on pre-recorded, and those bits could be the helpers out when we are all getting changed. So
yes.
That peppered throughout the second half and really helped as a continuing gag, but also was buying us the time to get changed when we needed it.
The interesting thing was there was one thing that we did write as a group, which was the Chinnery. Because me and Mark had written a version that was too filthy. With a gorilla rather than a panda.
Given how you end the show, that's...
Well, it was because we put it all together and we realised it was just non-stop film.
Yeah, I said it's got to be something.
So we had to reconceive it. So we were literally all together. Well, what other animal could it be? And then we worked it out as a group, kind of. It was a panda. How will it?
Trick.
Yeah. How will it?
And we thought, how could it be?
How could it be assassinated?
Killed?
And Reece, that was you, wasn't it? As Plop,
And I was
the
Plop,
panda?
Plop, yeah. It required skin work, so I thought I should do it.
Immediately regret it.
Yes.
It's true though. It was a very touching performance, Plop.
Thank you. Yeah.
And no stage crew could have twitched like you did.
No.
Exactly.
Steve, you were never in the running for Plop Plop, were you?
No, I was getting changed, actually, so I was not available to
He
be
was getting his hair lip.
He's
Yes.
available now for skin work.
And we still have the costumes.
Yeah.
Children's parties.
Yeah.
The mitzvahs.
And Jeremy, I said that you're the non-performing member of the league, but that's not strictly true. You have popped up in the show from time to time. And were you tempted to pop up in this one?
Well, I do pop up in it, but on videotape, so that I don't have to.
Videotape.
But it's not videotape anymore. It's pixels.
That was amazing, wasn't it, to see those young people creating the Les McQueen stuff as we went.
Yeah, it's extraordinary.
Amazing, yeah. It was also being conceived and put together, wasn't it, just on computers.
It's
around us.
Well, we had projected backdrops for the first time. So in the first two tours, we had people lugging scenery, we had wooden sets, we had backcloths. This time round, we had
Pepper's Ghost.
we had projections of the back.
Yes.
And so they went to Hadfield, where we filmed The League of Gentlemen, and they filmed specially sequences, depending on what location we needed, and projected it onto the back wall, and it could be moving. So when you see the local shop, the clouds are going by, the grass is moving.
Have you seen that film where the train comes into the station?
just staring and pointing in disbelief that such things are possible.
Yeah.
There's a little black imp. It's all magic to us now, isn't it?
So you were never tempted to just parachute in for an on-stage cameo every night? It might have been a bit expensive, maybe. I don't know.
No, I was satisfied with sitting in the audience watching myself as Maureen, which is Les McQueen's lover, and which very few people, I think, connected. A few people did.
I clearly didn't.
Yes, lots of people thought it was Bob Mortimer.
When you immersed yourself in character, you would not come out of character at lunchtime, which is really impressive.
or even yet.
Yes. If you can imagine Jeremy's here in his
shift dress.
We should have put on the DVD as an extra the entire dance that you did for all of Simple Man, which would have been,
probably still there.
It's really great.
It's
you really went for it.
There is you can perhaps clear something up for me, because I couldn't see it in the credits or find it anywhere. But yeah. Could you take a look for me? I've got a little spot in my back. There's an American voice during the Les McQueen section.
John Landis.
Yes, it's John. We got John Landis to do it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I was trying to place it. I was going, is that Elliot Gould? Who is it?
No, it's Landis, yeah.
Okay. How did that come about?
Well, just through asking him, because I know him quite well now. I've been done Burke and Hare,
Yep.
and I sort of stayed friends with him. So, Mark said, should we try and get John to do it? And he was around. He happened to be in London about 2 weeks before we needed the voice. Or a week, actually.
Yeah, it was quite
short.
close, yeah.
And he came in one day and did it.
Oh, well, there you go.
He was really determined to see it. He came to see it in Brighton.
Right, yeah, that was amazing.
He loved it. He said it was
so
British.
I'm so used to this macabre British, and then suddenly it's like a carry-on.
No, he thought it was great.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. John Landis. Extraordinary stuff. So the decision to come together, and the fact that you were away as the league for so long, and obviously each one of you has been successful in your own right as well, was that important in a way in establishing success away from the league so you could come back together again, ultimately?
We never thought about it consciously. Originally, we did it virtually non-stop for a sort of 11 years. We always had a bit of a pact, didn't we, that we wouldn't sort of get distracted and do other stuff. So we kept at it right the way from live to radio to the 3 series, the special and the film. And then we just sort of had a pause, had a stop. People give people time to miss you, and also give people give us time to think about what might have happened. You know, I think it's very different to go away for that length of time and then come back, because you genuinely have nostalgia and affection for the characters, but also something might have happened.
Well, and you've lived yourself a bit as well, because that was the other thing. I think the first wave of material that we wrote was very much drawing on our whole lives growing up, wasn't it? And lots of lived stuff was in there. And then you go into the world of showbiz and you're in a different place. But I think that was another thing, coming back to it, having been away for that length of time. You've had all kinds of experiences that can then end up in the comedy.
Yeah, and they feed back into it, don't they, inevitably.
And I think we managed to not end up being completely removed from real life with Royston Vasey, because that's what I think keeps it fresh for people and enjoyable for people. It's grounded, isn't it? I think, and people sort of enjoy it for that.
But we did,
however mad it is.
Deliberately, we did it because we wanted to, not because we had to. And as I say, I think that was a huge part of it. We didn't overthink anything. We just thought, let's have a laugh. Let's get back together and do something. And I think that's the spirit of the whole thing.
And we did say, Jeremy reminded us, we did say it doesn't matter, let's write it. If it's rubbish, we just won't do it. So we didn't have the pressure of thinking we've got to do this brilliant return. If you're going to return, it's so perilous to return and have this thing that's so fondly remembered. Probably more remembered, more lovingly and more revered than it should be, because of time. So you can spoil it, can't you? By they shouldn't have done it. They've lost it. So that's you're prepared to knock it off its pedestal. But we didn't. We thought if it's fun and we're going to make ourselves laugh doing it, then that's the right reason to do it. And we did.
And so without spoiling anything, there are sections in here that are sequels, if you will, or certainly continue the story of the specials you did last year. Do you consider those to be league canon if you were to do more episodes of the TV show?
Oh, I don't know.
I don't think you could, because you can't rely on everyone having seen it. But having said that,
there's nothing that we've not done anything.
Pauline's perhaps would be the trickiest thing, would it?
yes.
You'd have to do a catch-up where it'd
be like the beginning of Dracula, Prince of Darkness.
Yeah, you just do it very quickly. It's all a minute and a half sequence.
For the live show, and then you'd be all right.
Because people saw it, they had not a clue what the league was, and they still enjoyed it for the sort of the logic of that night. You could watch it as a thing, and you'd be up to speed watching that little bit of the end of the specials.
Yeah,
to understand this woman is in a wife mine.
Oh my God!
For example,
you know what a wife
so yeah, you know what a wife mine is, and so you hit the ground running, and you seem to get it all. It might be mad, but
you just look it up on Wikipedia, and away you go.
Yeah. Of course, if you'd followed the film as canon, then all of it would be happening in Jeremy's head in a hospital bed anyway.
So we should turn around at the end for our bows, and we've got tails.
That's good. Let's go back.
And where does the film fit into canon? Where does League of Gentlemen's Apocalypse fit?
Why are
into
you
canon?
asking these questions?
Because
it's in a bubble.
We're a film magazine, Reece. We're a film podcast.
I can tell you officially, it all takes place in the mind of the Bubble Angel.
Yes, that's true.
That's true.
Yes, it's hard to place the canonical reality of the film, isn't it?
Because it's in the outside of Vasey. It's in
Because it's a.
But you could interpret it as all of having happened in.
Yeah, so
your
if
head.
it has happened in the character of Jeremy Dyson's head, then that's to one side of it's a separate story.
Okay.
It's like the Peter Cushing Dalek films.
Yes.
Very much
Parallel.
there, but an aside.
And this accords with modern physics as well.
Okay.
With the with the alternative and parallel universes.
Yes, I like it.
Or indeed, Doppelganger, Journey to the Far Side of the Sun. That's how I like to think of it. It was all in a mirror.
True. It was all in a mirror. That's a good idea. It's been done now, is it?
It's been done a few times.
Thank you for picking up the unspoken subtext of my question. That's exactly where I was going with that.
Doppelganger, Journey to the Far Side of the Sun, colon. Oh, they're Jerry Anderson pilot.
No, it's a film. It was a theatrical release.
So what is next for you collectively and individually, Mark? Let's start with you. Apart from listing people who have died.
That's my main hobby.
Well, you're retiring now.
I'm retired. I'm off.
He's done.
Bye-bye.
He's ticked every box.
I'm doing Dracula.
Very excited about that.
or Dracula, as we like to call it.
I do exactly the same on the podcast. Dracula. Yeah.
Dracula's better.
Dracula.
Yeah.
But we're going to change it officially so that all children are correct from now on. And then...
And you just cast Dracula
yes.
as well.
Claes Bang.
Claes Bang.
Bang, bang, you're dead.
His brother Silit.
Can't say that.
Said. It's true.
Yeah, very excited about that. Start shooting next year
Amazing.
for 2020, yes.
Fantastic. Excellent stuff.
And you've just done The Madness of King George in the theatre.
I have, yes, and hopefully transferring next year, all being well. What?
And Steve, what's next for you?
Well, Reece and I are doing a new series of Inside Number 9,
Okay.
which will be the 5th series. So we've just finished writing those scripts, and we'll be filming that. And beyond that, I don't know.
We have various things that could happen
Waiting for the phone to ring.
if we want them to. Yeah. But yeah, that's going to take us till the end of March, probably, to film that.
Okay.
But that's all consuming when you're in it, you know.
Why don't
yeah.
you do like a Brexit special? Here's a skip for you. Why don't you do like a Brexit special? Yeah. Brilliant.
We might.
We might. Who knows?
What would that involve? Or
Huh?
what would that involve? The Brexit special?
I don't think anything could match the insanity of the real situation.
world.
Yeah.
There's no point talking about it because by the time this
I know.
comes out, even if it's tomorrow, it'll all be different again.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. Precisely. Reece, is there any point me asking what you're doing? Because
No,
I know
I'm
what you're
sort
doing
of
already.
the same thing as Steve. Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. I'm excited about it. And Jeremy, what's next for you?
I'm in the midst of writing a follow-up film to Ghost Stories with Andy Nyman at the moment.
Very good.
And I have a couple of other scripts on the go as well.
Fantastic. You can't talk about them.
I don't want to talk about it.
Even to you, even off mic, you can't talk about them.
I'd rather not say, actually.
It's personal.
So Ghost Stories 2 is definitely going to be a film. It's going to
It's
be
not Ghost Stories 2, it's another film.
Oh, it's
but
another film.
It's not in the same universe as Ghost Stories, it's a
Okay.
separate film.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And Ghost Stories is coming back to the...
The play is this. It's
Play
coming
is
back to
coming back.
Lyric in February, I believe, yes.
Brilliant.
We're casting at the moment, yes.
And collectively, when can we see you again?
buying the DVD.
Oh, who knows? There's no plans to do anything with each other again, but we want to. I mean, you know, probably not Royston Vasey. We've done it, haven't we? We came back to stop people asking when are you going to do any more.
It never
And
stops.
now people are saying, are you doing any more?
Maybe in Denville Hall. We all the actor's retirement home. We put it on there.
Yeah, do it then.
Yeah.
It would be lovely to think we could do another thing together that's not Royston Vasey, because that would be exciting. I mean, the other one was, but that would be new.
Yeah.
Except no one would want to see it.
Yeah, maybe not.
They wouldn't know, but
Why didn't
15 years
Royston
later
Vasey?
they would.
Yeah.
In 15 years when we're 60, in our 60s, mid-60s.
Yes.
Make it
Please,
happen.
God.
Let's all be back here in 15 years' time.
Yeah.
Let's make it official. Fantastic. It's been a pleasure, chaps. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much indeed. Jeremy Dyson, Reece Shearsmith, Steve Pemberton, Mark Gatiss. Better known, of course, as a League of Gentlemen. Thank you very much indeed.
He's back!